Hey guys! So, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the few lessons I learned from my divorce. Yes, I was married 13 years ago, for those of you who do not know, and I'm officially divorced. I'm a certified relationship and mental expert who is not ashamed to use all her mistakes and all the lessons she has learned from her mistake to build you. That is what actually makes me a professional. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So, divorce is one thing a lot of women shy away from because of the society we come from, Africa. When you talk about divorce, you seem like a failure. It seemed like you did not make the marriage work. And in this part of the world, marriage is being built on the shoulder of a woman. It's always a woman's fault for everything. We don't know why, but we grew up to see that it's always a woman that have to put in the effort. So you see many women, they're so ashamed to talk about divorce because they see themselves as a failure. Why am I not ashamed to talk about it? Is because when you divorce, you did not fail. No, you did not fail. It simply means you did not walk. Oftentimes, we make bad choices because of ignorance. We are naive. Our level of mental capacity at that point in time, lack of compatibility, lack of comprehension, the fact that we can actually love people so much and we cannot cohabit with them. Chemistry is different from compatibility and cohabitation. You're going to get to a point in your life where you have this understanding and you will not be ashamed of talking about these things because a lot of us are still going to make the mistake where we think that it's always about love, love, love just to get married. Then when you get into the marriage, you see that it takes more than love to actually be married. You need so much effort. You need so much consistent. You need so much creativity. You need so much intentionality to be there because people think you just go there and fall in love. You don't fall in love. You walk into love and you intentionally make it work. Number one lesson I learned from my divorce is how to listen. When I was married to my ex-husband, I was young because I got married at the age of 18. So I don't listen. I was the definition of being stubborn. Before he says one, I said two. Before he said two, I have said four. I always have answers to every question. You know that point of our life in your 18 years, 19, 20, your adrenaline is pumping. We're always very hyperactive. We want to innovate, we want to experience, we want to explore, we want to be adventurous. That's the time that is called the peak of your youthful exuberance. So I was married at the age of 18. So at that point, I know they hear word. I get cocoon. I know they hear word. Before he says one, I've said five. Before he said two, I don't talk 10. My mouth was running radio without battery. So at some point, he used to tell me, you have to go and read law in school because I always had answer to every question. Before you even ask me, I have the answer to the question. So I barely listened to anything. So it was always a problem because it came off as disrespectful. You know that point a man wants to talk and you already have something to say. Could you shut up? Let me listen. Now it led to domestic violence because sometimes to his own understanding, he had to slap me, he had to beat me to shut me up, he had to bring his mic to shut my mouth. So as they're beating me, I'm still talking because when you're beating me, I don't keep quiet. I still be running my mouth. You're a coward. You cannot do anything. They'll be beating me. I'll still be shouting. You cannot do anything. You cannot do what. I barely listened. I didn't want to listen because I had so much I wanted to say. So one big problem we have in relationship and marriage is the fact that we don't listen. Everybody wants to talk at the same time. We don't pay attention. Hearing is different from listening. When you hear people, you are hearing to respond. But when you listen, you are listening to understand. You're trying to comprehend and see where they're coming from. But when you're just trying to hear, hey, you're there, you're there. So that's what happens to a lot of us. So I'm going to urge a lot of people to listen. When you don't listen in your relationship and marriage, it will damage, it will scatter. Somebody has to talk, somebody has to comprehend. And sometimes we don't have to talk at the same time. Yes, you allow this person to finish talking, you comprehend, give the person time, come and say your own. Because it's when you talk, the person talk, you are arguing as if you're trying to defend yourself. I know many of us women, our mouths, we be lawyer, we are born lawyers. So sometimes you allow them talk, you comprehend, say, okay, no problem, give it time, a day or two, then you say your own. So that it doesn't look like a challenge. It doesn't look like a power tussle. Because my ex-husband was always feeling like I was challenging him. And I was young. He was about 14 years older than me. Imagine when a small girl is challenging you. And I was so tiny then, eh? I was not even blessed to see you. I was like one leggy rope. But if you see me that time, Baza Queen now. You can imagine my drama right now. Imagine when I was younger. So sometimes he felt disrespected. And the only way he felt he could shut me up was to beat me up. That was his own understanding. Remember, I said we're going to get to a point of our life where we grow, where we learn, unlearn, and relearn. So I got to understand that, yes, that's his own understanding of maybe shutting a woman up or bringing up a woman or showing your might or making her respect you. So that was where the domestic violence and the beating came in, the slaps and the blow. Actually beating me, I was still talking. So I'm going to urge a lot of beautiful women and a lot of handsome men out there to please pay attention. Let's not talk at the same time. Let's listen to our spouse. Let's pay attention to our spouse. See where they're coming from. Let's not be looking for how we want to respond. It's not a law court. People are not fighting. You need to give them your vulnerability. Nobody is competing. It's love. It's not fight. They're not your enemy. So calm down. Listen. It doesn't make you a coward. It doesn't make you less a man or less a woman. You should open your ear and hear word. Hear word. I know you have crocodile. Two lesson I learned from my divorce was expectation. When I got married to my ex-husband, I expected too much from him. You know that point you marry somebody and you begin to see them like denim gods. And that's the biggest problem we have in relationship and marriage. The moment you marry people, they are not supposed to lie. They're not supposed to cheat. They're not supposed to, you just place them like gods. No, they are human. And that's why the Bible said, forgive 70 times, 7 times. But there's a problem with us. The moment we're in love with people, we place some sort of expectations on them, forgetting that they are human beings. Now, I learned that the moment you start to love people, you must learn to forgive them. Because the more people love you, the more they will offend you. It is people who are closer to you that are likely to offend you the more. They might not do it intentionally. If people don't offend you, they are pretending. They are hiding. Now, this is the problem. When people meet you in a relationship and marriage, everybody's acting. That first time, we're acting Nigerian movie. That's why it looks as if marriage unveils them. The first month of marriage, they'll still be doing some small mushy, those people that can pretend. But you see, relationship, you meet a guy, he's giving you his perfect side, he opened the door for you, he looks his best, take you to fancy restaurant. No, there's something in him. All those ones is acting. We are just acting because, like I once said in one of my videos, we have public action and we have private action. It's not that thing that he's doing in public. That's not who he is. Who he is when he's in private, when nobody's looking at him. That's the reason why sometimes when they tell you that this is who this person is, you can't phantom the public personality and the private personality. If you see my ex-husband, you will call me the troublemaker. You will not believe that he can raise his hand on a woman because in public, oh my God, he's a gentleman, handsome man. If you see my ex-husband, you will marry him. But remember, I said, there's a public appearance we display, and there's a private appearance we display until you begin to understand that they are not who they are in public. It's the privacy. That's why you don't know anybody. That's why when you have crush on people, when you get close to them, you uncrush them because that's when you begin to see the true identity behind the costume, behind the makeup, behind the bougie. So, expectation. We need to start reducing our expectation. I expected so much from my ex-husband. So much. He's supposed to, he's not supposed to. And there is one bad thing about expectation. When you are the person who is always expecting, you never take correction. Because when you are the expectant, you always feel like you're perfect. Expectation build this perfection. I too know we enter you. You will just sit down and be projecting, but you would never make an effort. Even while that person is changing and making an effort, you become the problem. That's the worst thing about expectations. Expectations robs you of your true identity. Expectations robs you from learning. Because you're always wanting someone to do something for you that you cannot even do for yourself. You're always wanting somebody else to improve, yet you've not improved yourself. You will see that most people who complain most are the most imperfect people. They can project to you what they want you to be, how they want you to change, what they want you to, but they never get to change. That's what expectation does. Now, the problem now is that person you are expecting to actually does change. They actually do put in effort. But because you are so expectant, you don't also work on yourself. You're just sitting down and expecting them to. So when they do it, you become the problem. Because you have already seen yourself as perfect. So even when they are changing and they are evolving and they are even doing that thing that you're telling them to do, you're not even noticing it. Because there's no change on your own part. You've already sat down there and felt like you are one Mrs. Perfect. In fact, you are even doing the person a favor by marrying the person. You are the one that have finished building your life. The moment you stop learning, that's when you die. And the problem with most of us in relationship and marriage is that the man feels that he has overlearned, he's coming to teach you. The woman feels that she has overlearned, she's coming to. Nobody is above learning. Even the smallest child can teach you. Some of us have stopped being teachable. And that's where marriage dies. The moment you feel too big for your wife to talk to you, you feel too big for your husband to talk to you, maybe because you're financially more buoyant, you have this stuff, you start feeling too big. Nobody can correct you. The moment you begin to feel too big, that you are no longer teachable, that's where you die. That's where emotion dies. The essence of having companion is for this person to be able to tell me, stop. If you marry people that cannot tell you stop, then you're not in marriage. If you marry people that cannot tell you, baby, where are you going? You're not in marriage. Because the essence why we marry is for people to be able to help curtail. If you want to live a free life, be single. Nobody will ask you where you're going to. Even you now, as you are single, there are sometimes you sit down and say, nobody even call me today. Nobody even ask me if I don't chop. Nobody even ask me where are you coming from. Yes, that's where loneliness sets in. So that's why we need companions, somebody to even check on. If you're not, there are some of us that if our phone don't, if nobody call us, nobody knows what is wrong with us. And some of you that will stay in your house and be dying till you die, nobody knows if you are sick or not because nobody calls to check up on you. That is the same freedom you're asking for. So when it comes to relationship and marriage, that's the beauty. Somebody will be asking for you. Somebody will be checking up on you. Somebody cares so much about you. You travel. Some of us can travel. Nobody's going to call us. It can even be only our mother that we call us. That's if our mother even know where we went to. But when you have a loved one, oh baby, I'm traveling. Have you reached? Have you landed? Are you in your hotel? How was it? That's what makes relationship and marriage. That's what makes life beautiful. That communication, that essence of feeling appreciated, special, and loved. So we need to reduce our expectations of people and put it on ourselves. Everything you want people to do for you, it's time to start doing it for ourselves because the problem is everything you want, you cannot even do it for yourself. You just sit down and be projecting, Madam Anoga. I expected so much from him and he never met up to the expectation. So the marriage kept dying, kept diminishing because the expectations were never met. And on my own part, I was young. I wasn't putting in effort. I just felt that a man is supposed to. I was that young girl that was 18, 19-year-old that felt that a man is supposed to. A woman is not supposed to. Far back 13 years ago, I had that mindset that a man is supposed to. Society have already projected and have already built a lot of women to feel that there are some certain things that a man must do. Don't do it. So even when you have the capacity to do it, you don't want to do it. There are some men that don't even know. They marry you to teach them. But because your mind feel that they are supposed to know, you cannot teach. You feel too big. You're supposed to know. Now, why are you making it get that now? Especially when it comes to like finance. Yes, society have been able to project that a man is supposed to provide. Yes, we agree. But as a woman, you will grow to a point whereby you understand that you have the ability to support. That's where we become independent and start to work. That support comes in because, yes, it's his job to provide, but life can happen. Circumstances can change. So that support has to be there. That is where you reduce your expectation and begin to put in work on yourself. But the problem is a lot of women have that mindset that he must provide. Whether he get to, concern, is his work to provide. If a man does not give them chop money, they will not chop. Is a wrong mindset. And I used to have that mindset. So it was very hard for me to teach. It was very hard for me to be corrected. It was very hard for me to see the best in him, my ex-husband, because I had built some sort of level of expectation. And when he doesn't meet that expectation, the love I have for him diminishes. It's as if he has failed me. It's as if he has failed society. It's as if he wasn't a man. Yes, because the expectation was just so high. In fact, at that point you marry a man and you just place him like one gold. So this is is that number 2 or number 3? I think I've lost count. So expectation. I think we need to get my hairs are entering inside my eyes. So sorry. Oh, Brazilian hair. So I think that is number 3. So we're going to do number 4. The lessons I learned from my divorce: communication and comprehension. Remember I talked about listening. Listening is different from when you communicate and when you comprehend. Comprehension takes another level of mental capacity. Comprehension is you are trying to understand, where the person is coming from. You're trying to be on the same, pace with the person. It was tough to communicate and to comprehend. Maybe because we weren't speaking the same language. Maybe because of his own attitude of speaking, because he also had his flaws, and he's also going to have the lessons he learned from our marriage, from our previous marriage. So the communication was a no for me because my ex-husband saw me as a small girl. So he talks to me as a small girl. My opinion didn't matter because he felt I was young. What can I contribute? And he was this kind of person that likes to talk, but he doesn't want you to talk. He likes it when he's talking, you should listen, but when you have something to say, he doesn't accept. So it was a problem. It was a power tussle. And that's why I keep telling couples when they come for therapy, why do you marry people you can't respect? Why do you marry people you think that they are so small? Remember that marriage is equality. The moment you marry a girl, if you like be 40 years old and you marry 16-year-old girls, you guys have become equal. You're sleeping with her. She's your wife. She shares your bed. She sees every part of you. So you cannot marry somebody and still be seeing the person as a small girl. Once you marry that small girl, you have upgraded her to your level. She's not a woman. In fact, she's not your age mate. So the only thing that is going to bind the both of you is respect. So a lot of men actually marry younger women and still belittle them in their heart. Who be this one to talk to me? Why ain't you talk to me? So oftentimes communication is the problem. She cannot correct you. I remember then when I tell my ex-husband, maybe this shirt you're wearing, I don't like it. You tell me, I like it like that. And it makes me feel bad, right? He will now wear the shirt to work. Do you know if my ex-husband goes to work and any of his random colleague tells him that they don't like this shirt, my ex-husband will drive back home and change that shirt. It made me feel bad. It made me feel like I was blind. I'm your wife. If I say I don't like something, it's okay for you to say, okay, baby, what color do you like? It just, do you understand? It's not even the fact. It's the fact that he comes back home when he hears it from somebody else. So oftentimes, we marry spouses that see us through other people because they don't believe in us. They don't see us as anything. And I keep asking, why did you marry us? If you knew we were too young, we did not have sense, we're not that smart, we are that foolish, why did you marry us? So it makes anybody feels less, be it a man, be it a woman. I will keep saying it. If you know that, don't marry people you cannot communicate with. Because a lot of men will tell you they cannot communicate with their wives. Why did you marry them? What were you doing during your times of dating? Because when you cannot communicate with people, you will subconsciously devalue them. You subconsciously make them feel irrelevant. You subconsciously make them feel little. These things are the things that are unsaid that kills this relationship and marriages silently. Yeah. So we must be conscious about the people that we marry. I remember when my ex-husband married me at 18 years, he wanted me to be a 30-year-old woman overnight. Yes. I remember on my 20th birthday, he bought me over 4 different suits because my ex-husband was a banker. So I think he had a persona about the kind of woman he wants. At point, a man is a banker and he has seen women in the bank. So my ex-husband wanted me to grow up by all means and, project this person I am was what my ex-husband wanted me to be when I was 18. And I was not seeing it. I wanted to still wear my jean, wear my crop top. I hated pants trousers because I did not even have yash. I didn't have bum. And I was still in year 1, year 2. Where am I supposed to be wearing suits to? I was studying economics. I was not studying law. I was studying medicine. What was my business with suits? So it was a power. He wanted me to always wear suit to wear, to lecture under the hot sun in University of Calabar. So he wanted me to grow up so fast. And now the point, that is where I am going to. You knew I was so young. You knew I was 18 years old. And you want me to grow up into a 30-year-old woman automatically. You did not want to grow with me. When you marry an 18-year-old girl or a 19-year-old girl, you must be ready to dance to their tune. You can see what Ojukwu did with Bianca. And that is why I admire this couple. I'm going to have to call their names, Regina Daniels and Ned Nwoko. It's one couple I admire with what I see on the media. From what I see, Ned Nwoko did not stop Regina Daniels from being herself. He did not tell her, because I marry you, change it. Regina Daniels is still Regina Daniels. He still elevated her. It was when Regina Daniels got married, she drew more tattoos. She still lived her life, or maybe she lived it in a particular level. I admire them so much. He is growing with her. He did not say, oh, because I'm older than you or because I'm on this level, you will not do this thing, you will not wear this thing, you will not go this place. No, the only thing is that, okay, if she's going to these places now, she has security, she has some level and blah, blah, blah. That is what it takes when you marry a younger person. You cannot marry an 18-year-old girl and to just automatically be a 30-year-old person. They'll start telling you be mature. You have to be mature. It doesn't work like that. It's a process. We are young and we are going to grow. We are going to pass through those youthful exuberance. So when you're marrying a younger person, you must do the work or you leave them for their parents. Because that's what happens in this society. They marry you as a very young girl and they want you to grow up overnight and become a 40-year-old woman. It doesn't work. There are some things my ex-husband wanted me to do that we fought about that now that I'm 33 years old. You don't need to tell me to do it. It's a lifestyle. I grew into that woman. It's time. But then it was like it was work. How can you be forcing me to wear things I don't like? Forcing me to be doing. I had not gotten to that point. I wasn't a CEO. I was a young 18-year-old girl who wanted to flex life and just be a young girl. Why did you marry me if you couldn't deal with all the youthful exuberance? If I leave my mama power. So we need to learn all these little things so that it doesn't become a problem in our relationship and our marriage. So that was most of the problems that we had. And that was what actually made us to part ways. And the last but not the least, the biggest one I learned from my divorce is the fact that I realized that love is not enough. I loved my ex-husband so much and he loved me too. It was that bad that my ex-husband comes to University of Calabar to fetch water for me as a banker. For my ex-husband to get married to me, he was kneeling down under the rain, begging my mom to marry me in Ogbete main market in Enugu State when my mom said I was too young for marriage. The love was there. If anybody had told me that I would leave my ex-husband, I would say it's a lie. I don't even think that my ex-husband will ever love a woman the way he loved me. Even if he has married, even if he should marry 10 wives, the love he gave me, I don't think he can give it to another woman because we loved each other. He can now marry for marriage. You know, sometimes we love once in our life, but we don't know. Oh, the people you marry might not even be people that you love. That's why I always tell people, when you find love, be vulnerable, experience it until you marry. Marriage is not love. No, you might not marry people you love. You might not even be able to stay with somebody that you love. So when you see love, enjoy it. Chemistry is different from compatibility. Chemistry is love. Compatibility is, can we stay? Because I love you, no me say if I stay with you. That is the reality of marriage. So that was what I learned. Love was not enough. In fact, we fought everybody around us that looks as if they wanted to come and jeopardize our love. But when they left us, we started fighting ourselves. There was nobody to put the blame on again. It was no longer your mother refused me to marry you. Your mother does not like me. They left us alone. It is when people leave you and your husband alone, that is when you know if you can leave. Now, people are even interfering and you're looking for who to push the blame on. It's my mother-in-law. It's your father-in-law. By the time they leave the two of you alone together, people will not even be able to say, that was what happened to me and my ex. At some point, it was looking as if people did not want us to love. We were doing Romeo and Juliet, leave us, we are in love, we fought, his mother didn't like me, my mother didn't like me, we fought all those battles and finally ended up together and we started fighting ourselves. I dated my ex-husband for 4 years. I married him for 1 year and 6 months. Yeah, what a story. Yes, that is where I learned that love is not enough. I didn't divorce my ex-husband because I didn't love him. I love him and I still love him, but I can't marry him. If you give me my ex-husband again to marry, I will tell you no. I don't marry. No, not because he's a bad person. Sometimes when we tell stories like this, and that's the reason why I'm making this video, because oftentimes I talk about my ex-husband, it's being projected as if I hate him. No, I only share my experience. It doesn't mean I hate him. It has nothing to do with hate. It's just coming to the acceptance that you can love people so much and let them go. That letting go is the love. Let somebody else who can live with them, live with them. Loving them is seeing them doing well from afar. I am so sure that in as much as I might not be married to my ex-husband, but trust me, I have become everything he wanted me to be. That woman, that CEO, that success. My ex always told me, Nkiru, I want you to be better than me. If he comes across this video, he will smile. As young as I was, I remember that time I'll tell him that, I failed this course. So my ex will give me money to sort and say, I want you to be better than me. So I am still that woman that he wanted me to be. But unfortunately, we cannot cohabit. So it's not hate per se. And there's a perception we have. We always think that because I cannot stay with you, I must hate you. No. You can love people so much and still not be able to stay with them. So I learned chemistry and compatibility. It's not the same. Love is what you feel. Compatibility is what you learn and what you become intentional about. For you to be compatible with people, you will learn how to overlook. You will learn how to be mature. You will learn how to communicate. You will learn how to comprehend. It is compatibility that is work. Love is just a feeling. I feel this way for you. I come, we make love, we kiss, you give me. The work. Can we stay? You dey hear word, you go fit talk, you go fit listen, you go fit tolerate, you go fit forgive me, you go fit do I when I do some things like say you no see am, you go dey complain about everything wey you see. That's where nagging comes in. So that's where the work in relationship and marriage happened. And that was why I and my ex-husband had to part our ways. Not because we hated each other, but because you will come to a certain point in your life where you have to face reality and say, this would not work. The more I stay in this marriage, more we become enemies to each other. I used to say it. If I was with my ex-husband, I would not get to where I'm going to. My dreams will not be fulfilled. Maybe he himself would not have gotten to where he's going to. So we had to leave each other because we didn't want to kill each other. Me personally, I had to leave him because I didn't want to. I knew that if I'm with this man, I will not get to where I'm going to. Not because he hated me. He had good intentions for me. There's a difference between you love people and you're not loving them right. People can love you so much and still not know how to love you right. So that was what happened between me and my ex-husband. He loved me so much, but he couldn't love me right. Like people who knew us far back then, including the pastor that wedded us, still baffles and say, Lucky and Nkiru divorce. It's still a myth. That was what I learned. Love is not enough to stay married. You must build other things. Forever is not a joke. Love is just a feeling that will die. You are the one that will keep rekindling that feeling by your actions, by your words, by the things you learn, and by the things you unlearn. So until you begin to understand this, comprehend this, you might end up being divorced. If you just want to get married just because of love, you will end up like me, not because I was a bad person, or because I misbehaved, or because I cheated, or because of the noise people are making. It was just ignorance. I became divorced because I didn't even know why I got married in the first place. But the luck and the beauty about my divorce was that it happened to me early. I divorced when I was 21. It was so easy for me to pick up the rest of my life, be able to start studying, be able to unlearn and relearn. That's why you could still see me. I'm still looking young. I'm still looking beautiful. I'm still looking very, very energetic. It's because I picked up my lessons at a very young age. I dropped off some attitude and I grew up. And that's why oftentimes when I tell people my age, they say it's not possible. People always think I'm in my 40s. Funny enough, I'm not in my 40s. I'm just 33 years old. Yes, 33 years old. I was born 23rd May 1989. I just wanted to tell you my age just to show you that I intentionally decided to grow up. It is my growth that makes you think I am old. I grew up in my mind. I grew up in my brain. I decided to sit down and consciously make that effort to grow up so that I can become a better person. You can see Blessing CEO right now and admire Blessing CEO because I was not the girl that my ex-husband married. Trust me, many of you, if you had met me 13 years ago, maybe you wouldn't have been able to talk to me. I grew. I'm not the same woman. I had grown, I have left some certain attitude, I have learned my lessons from my mistakes. And that's why I'm not ashamed to share it with you because I know that this can save you. And this message is very relatable both to you as a man and to you as a woman. I hope you learned something from the lessons I learned from my divorce. Don't forget, I'm a certified relationship and mental expert, and I have an office right here in Lagos where you can walk in and talk to a therapist. You can call our number 070-195-11795. Trust me, I have the first therapy lounge in Africa. You can Google me, Brick or Makeup Therapy Lounge .com. So walk in and talk to a therapist. I'm filled with so much experience and vibe. You know now, Abby Cruz, and I love you.